What up, YouTube? What up, Flow Nation? What up to the RC community, man? I've had good feedback on the last video I made, and I really enjoy it. So, that being said, I've had 4 or 5 questions in the last 2 days. How do I know when my bearings are going bad, Jason? And how do you change out the bearings? I've had a hell of a time getting the bearings out of a TP motor. So I just show you my tricks real quick, and we'll get through this. Now, this motor is maybe a month old, okay? It's a TP 2150. Was made custom. I got it. Super happy that I finally got it. It took 2 months to get. And I've ran it maybe 3 times. I was getting ready to change the bearings out anyways, because I always change the bearings at 3 or 4 runs, guys. I just like my stuff. You know, you probably don't have to, but I like my stuff top notch. I want to keep it new as long as possible. This stuff's not cheap. I know that these are $150 motors, but you know what? Who's going to burn $150 right now? None of us, right? So I'm going to run this thing real quick and let you listen to it. (2102 kV). So it was off by 48 kV of what it's supposed to be, pulling 3.3 amps. Now, let's take this one off and put this 4070 on here that I've had way longer. This was also a 2150 kV that I had custom made. I've had this one for maybe a year. Changed the bearings out not too long ago, actually. It's probably got 2 runs on it, maybe 3 runs since I've changed the bearings. And I'll let you listen to the noise in this one. Let me get back to kV. Can you notice the difference already? Way more quieter. You're not hearing the popping. That popping noise is actually grit and dust inside the bearings. Now, Jason, can I just go take some flow juice and squirt it in the back of the bearings and I'm good to go? No. You can put a minuscule amount. Then you'll be good to go. The bearings will start getting louder. But all you're doing basically is you're throwing some duct tape on a wound that you should have some Band-Aid or a surgery for, you know? So look, easy way to do it. This thing sounds a lot more quieter than the new one because it's got new bearings. Let's go ahead and unplug this thing and I'll show you guys how I take them apart and how I get the bearings out. This, guys, MIP drivers, hex drivers, and an IKEA drill, man. Actually, this one I think is a Harbor Freight. This one is an IKEA drill. This thing was like $8 and I've had it for 2 years and it works great. It's rechargeable. Same with this one. This one's a little janky and it's slow, but it works good. It's got a ton of torque. So let's get all these screws out of here, guys. This is one of the 4270, so it's got more screws than the 4070 have. We're just going to get it out. We're going to put it on our paper towel here. The reason I have a paper towel out, I'll show you in a second. I'll just go ahead and tell you while I'm taking these apart. So, the reason I have a paper towel out is when you get your shaft out right now, you're not going to want to put it anywhere where there's a dirty surface, where there might be metal particles, anything like that. Keep it on a clean surface and you'll be able to get it out. No problem. So, I got the screws out. I'm just going to push the rotor from the bottom, pop the cap. I'm going to take the cap off. And what I used to do, put the cap on one side and put all the screws on that side. Now I know that's the top. The reason I'm doing that is for the next step. On the inside, you're going to have these shims. You don't want to lose those and you want to put them back the same way you found them. So that's going to be just like the motor sitting just like this. And there could be 2, there could be 3, there could be bigger one of these. There's also these real thin ones. The way I'm taking them out is the way I'm putting them back. Now you just pop your rotor out. And in this side, which I hate steel shims, there's two more. And they just look like metal washers. I don't like that at all. I've never seen that actually in a TP. So there you go. This is a CM motor. It don't have all the Kevlar braided around it, all the Kevlar string around it. Only thing that string does, guys, is holds the magnets together. It holds it all at one piece. That's the only thing it's there for. These are made a little different, so you don't need to do that. But there you go. See, pretty dirty. This thing actually is. It's got some scuffs on it. It's a little dirty, but we'll be taking care of that. Put it over here by itself. Now you got the motor, and you got the bearing in the back. Since you already have your bullets on there, there's two ways to do it. Beat it out or push it out. And I'll show you that right now. Stay tuned. All right, guys. We're up in the garage right now. And I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it that I've found. Everybody should have some sockets in their garage, right? You want it big enough to where that bearing will fall on the inside of that socket. Then you want a smaller socket, small enough to fit inside this hole, but not so small where it's going to shove through the bearing. Okay? And all you're going to do is open up the vise. This is just a cheap Harbor Freight vise, guys, that I've beat on for the last 2 or 3 years. It works fine for what I do. I'm not doing any heavy blacksmithing or anything like that. Why am I putting cardboard there? Because I don't want to scratch up my end piece, right? You guys probably don't want to scratch it up either. So, put a little bit of cardboard there. Actually, you only need it on the one side. Oop. So I'm going to put this here first. Then I'm going to slide this in here. I'm going to hold it while I'm pressing down until there's some pressure on it. And then I'll get everything lined up. Get that socket over more so it covers that bearing. And then I'm just going to push it through. There you go. It fell out. There's your bearing, guys. Oop, there's your bearing. Says made in Thailand. That's it. So with the back one, kind of the same way. I'm going to put this socket in here. Now, if you don't have your bullets on, or you're going to take your bullets off, then you can unscrew this and pull it out. I'm just trying to show you the most convenient way, guys. Rubber mallet. Take your socket. Now, who cares about this bearing? If you planned on reusing and cleaning these bearings, you probably don't want to go this route. You want to take it all apart. And you can do it on the vise with it taken apart. Let me go ahead and show you that real quick. All right, guys. I got all the screws out, but this back piece still won't come off. How do I get rid of that? You just put your rotor back in there. Give it a little hit. If that don't work, give it a little tap. As you notice on a lot of the TP motors, you'll find they put some kind of glue around there. So now you just broke that seal. And this works with Cordova motors, new motors, whatever kind of motor you're going to do. You're going to pull it about halfway down, just enough to where you can bend these wires out of the way so they're not in the way when you push it out. And the same thing, you want to put the socket around. We might be lucky on this one where it fits all the way around. Oh, not that lucky. Let me see if I can find a socket maybe fits it a little better. There we go. So this socket, if you notice on the inside, there's a ring. You just want something that'll fit around that ring, guys. This one might be a little too small still, but let me see if I can find a better one real quick. Just go through them until you can find one that fits really good. And then there you go. Check that out. The socket fit right on there. Now that bearing's going to fall off right into there. Let's get this set back up. So the reason I did put the cardboard there is the way I used to do it. Since I've tried this method now, I don't have to use it there because it's not going to scratch it. I'm just going to keep compressing it, spinning it until that happens. Now, there's the next bearing, just fell out. So there's the two bearings, they're out now. Now what do we do? What I like to do, especially with a CM motor, I'm going to take this bad boy, I'm going to put it up in my drill. And I'm going to get some, if I have any left, there we go, little piece of 1000 grit sandpaper. It's not going to take off hardly any material. I usually use 1200 grit. I don't know if I have any right now. All I have is the 1000. So I'm just going to run it around real quick and make sure there's no burrs or anything on it. Not taking off any material, just taking off the dirt, guys. Also, I like to run it on the post. Clean them up, make sure there's no burrs on there. We'll flip this thing around, put it in backwards, and we'll do the same thing to this pole. With it still in the drill, because you don't want anything touching this, guys. This is it's magnetic. You don't want any dirt or debris or anything getting in there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get my contact cleaner. I'm going to take a brand new clean towel and I'm going to give it a little spray with some contact cleaner, and I'm just going to run this in there. Look at that. Now I'll flip it around. I'll use the clean side and I'll spin it around in there again. Still coming off. I'll use the dry side. Oops. Forgot to tighten down the drill. I'll flip it around real quick. Then I'm going to use a dry one. And I'm just going to do this until it comes clean. Look at that. That's not all from the sandpaper. That's just dirt and grime, guys. Now look at that thing shine. Looks good, right? Clean it all up. You want all the dirt off of it. And then I'll just give it one more spray, the whole rotor. Make sure I get it all good. Get all that dirt off there, guys. You don't have to go so deep into like I'm doing, but I like my stuff top notch. So clean off where the drill was right now. Look at that. Shiny, beautiful. Nice and smooth now. There's no dips or ruts or anything in it. And it's getting clean. So, like I said, you don't want this touching anything, guys. So I'll take this brand new rubber glove here and I'll stick it over there to the side. It's for the motor. Same thing I showed you guys a while back. You're just going to spray it all out. Let's get a brand new clean towel under there so we can see what comes out of here. Somewhat clean. I can actually see a little burr inside there. Looks like a little rock. We're going to spray all up in here too because we're putting brand new bearings in it, so we want it clean. Hey, why not just get the plugs also, because we're already here using contact cleaner. So you might as well, right? Clean everything out. I mean, you can drench these things, guys. It's not going to hurt it one bit. Now, I don't know if you can see, but on this side, there's a little burr inside there. So what I do is I'll take this towel and I'll roll it up and I'll shove it down in there and get anything out inside there. You don't want to use any thin paper towels that are going to bust apart, guys. These are shop towels, wipe alls. So, see, there's that little burr I was talking about right there. Now, I'm going to take my air compressor and, of course, blow it out. Stick that over to the side. Now look, if you don't have an air compressor in your garage, you don't have one, this duster stuff, I got this stuff at like Costco. It was like a 6-pack for 18 bucks or something. $3 at Walmart. You got to have an ID now because I guess kids are huffing this crap now. So it's not just the Tide Pods now, guys. It's the dusters. But this stuff works great too. Put the straw on there, blow it clean, you're good to go. The top piece, you want to do the same thing to it. You want to clean it off. Any of that glue or dirt and stuff you don't want in there, guys. Not only that, it'll clean your threads for the next time you use it. All right, let's get ready to put the new bearings in. All right, guys. One thing I wanted to talk to you about. Here's the old bearings. You know what? They're not trash. Throw them in some acetone or some soapy water. Shake them up. Let them sit for 30 minutes. Take them out. Blow them out. Put some grease in there and they'll be good to go for a wheel bearing or something like that. Or a spool maybe. When you're putting your new bearings in, guys, I have not personally had good luck with rubber shielded bearings in a motor. I forgot to mention this yesterday or a couple days ago when I made that video. Every time I've gotten a ceramic or something like that, they've come apart on me, guys. The rubber seal will fall off. You'll be able to see the bearings. Now what? Tons of dirt's going to get in there. So I stay away from them. Now, if you're running them and you plan on changing them every 3 runs, no problem. Clean them out, get them going. But as soon as that rubber shield falls off, guys, you're in trouble. Let's see if I could pop. Especially on some of these bearings, their tolerances isn't very well. You usually can't get these out without a razor blade, but I can almost get my nail underneath it to get it out. So do what you feel is good, but I don't use them. So I use these bearings here. These are metal shielded ceramic bearings that I get from Fast Eddie's. I believe these ones are. Now, if you look at these ones compared to the ones that came out of the stock one, they almost look identical. Except for these are ceramic and they're a lot cleaner. Now, I remember why I put the cardboard there. So when I go to put these new bearings in, if they're giving me trouble, these ones are not. But if they start giving you trouble, then you can grab that socket that you had before, and you can come over here again to the vise. And I'll just give you a heads up on how I do it, guys. Find a socket that'll fit inside the bearing, okay? Now you put it on this side, you put it in the vise, and you tighten it down until it pops in. Now if it sticks up on the other side, you want to do the same thing and get a bigger bearing or a bigger socket, put it behind there. You'll shove it in here and you'll vise it down and push that bearing into place. Kind of like pressing it. So we're just about done, guys. We'll start throwing this thing back together and we'll go test it and see how much quieter it got. As you can tell, there's that brown copper I was talking about, guys, and that coat of epoxy or whatever they put around it. But it's clean, guys. It looks really clean. It should do the job. Let's go back inside, check it out. All right, guys, we're back inside now. Let's throw this thing back together and test it. The way I like to do it, I like to throw the back on first. Slide it all the way back down here. Pull those wires out, make sure you're not crimping them. Now you may need to slam this on a little bit. Sometimes they go on. I'll use that rubber sledge or the rubber part of some snips. Just give it some light taps all the way around. You want it 100% even. You want those holes to line up, as they do. Now let's throw the screws back in there. Taking far too long. Let's grab our IKEA See, IKEA, I think, is in like Switzerland or something. So they do everything backwards. You would think this would be forward and that would be backwards. That's forward. All right, we'll get another screw here. Let's throw that in from there. You don't want to tighten them super tight, guys. They already have had a thread locker on there, so they're going to stay in place. If you notice them start walking out, like these ones, I might throw a little blue thread locker on there. Make sure this is nice and clean now before we put it away. Good thing I did that because I just found this little chunk of black stuff on it. So, all I'm going to do, this is how the motor was when I took it apart. I'm going to put it back together the same way. Take these two washers here, I'm going to slide those back, slide this third one back, and I'm just going to hold it upside down. Now look, guys, hold on tight, because this bad boy right now is going to want to take off like a rocket. You don't want to smush your finger or something. Now it's back in there. Put this one back on because that went first. Put this back on because that went next. Put the cap back on. Tolerances are going to be a little tighter, guys. You're going to throw that on. Let's put the lid back on, and then we should be good to go. Good thing about contact cleaner, even if you forget a little bit of it, it will evaporate, guys. It's not going to stay in there forever. I don't know why on these 4260s they decided to, should have magnetized these tips, put 6 screws instead of 4 because it's a pain in the ass. Tell you what, do it upside down so that way it don't fall off. Do it by hand real quick and then we'll stick that on there to torque them down, guys. I love these MIP tools, man. If you don't have them, guys, you don't have to. Obviously, you see me. I don't have DeWalt stuff and all that stuff. I got cheap stuff. But when it comes to hex drivers, you don't want to skimp, man. I've gone through so many different brands because I thought they were going to be good. And it turns out they were junk. But I'll show you the torque of this thing. It'll spin the whole motor in my hand. Tons of torque. So, alright, that's all sealed up now. I did drop a screw on the ground over here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. If not, I'll run it anyways because it's got 5 others. So, we'll run it for a minute just to get this video over with. And then, we'll see you guys. Now, I've noticed on this motor tester, compared to this other one that I have, it has a function that I really like on this one. This is an older motor tester that I have. And I'll show you the function. And I do this to every single motor. And you guys can do it too with the newer one. But you'll have to do it manually. So, let's take this brand new motor we just put bearings in. Let's hook it all up. It's going to be ABC. With TP motors, guys, you can get the leads messed up and it don't affect it. It's not a censored motor, so it's fine. Let's do this. Plug it in. Now, on this new one, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This new one, the old one that I have, one thing I don't like about it, it comes in 2-pole or 4-pole. So if you run it in 2-pole, you got to divide by 2 to get your number. But you hold down these two at the same time, it'll give you break in. So it's going to break in this motor for me. These bearings actually. It's going to rev it up and bring it down. Rev it up, bring it down. I like to do this for at least a minute, just to get the bearings set in there, get it running right. While that's doing that, I'll look for the other screw. No heat at all, but tell you what, we'll go ahead and swap it over. And I did find the other screw, so we'll throw that in real quick. Look at that. I don't like that on a TP motor. It should not spin in and out like that. And I don't like the metal shims in there. I think that's crap. Should be copper or brass, guys, but that's the difference between someone like Steve New and Cordova and TP Motors, guys. Let's go ahead and hook this thing up. Should run a lot better now. All right, let's see here. Let's do a KV. A lot quieter, guys. A lot quieter. Still needs to get warmed up, heated up for everything to sit in there. But for the first test, not so bad. That's at 33,000 RPM. Not bad. It's not grinding no more, making any noise. One thing I do is I'll spin it around, let it wear out all sides. I'll move it up and down. Let it wear from all sides. Now if you have one of these analyzers and you want to do that motor break-in, bring it up like halfway, then back down. Halfway, then back down. All that's doing, that's heating up your motor, guys. Getting everything set and getting all the retraction and contraction done. But there you go. Motor bearings have been changed. Looks like new again. It's going to run a lot more efficient. It's going to run really good, guys. So there you go. That's how I do it. Thank you guys for watching.